in these autopsies, we're seeing that people's core temperatures were 107 and 109 degrees. And for the state to continue to gaslight us and our families and the public about, oh, these deaths, this increase of deaths has nothing to do with the heat.
Yet another major legal push underway to force the state of Texas to provide temperature control in all of its prison units. Currently, about 2/3 of the system is still without air conditioning, a grim fact which advocates for the incarcerated contend triggers the death of 14 inmates per year, due directly to the torrid Texas heat they must endure. Panel, we've talked about this before, and lots of folks simply can't understand how a state which boasted of a $33 billion surplus could not find a way to deliver humane conditions for both prisoners and the public servants who guard them. I'm going to go to you, Charles Blaine, because you volunteer in the prisons.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing short of inhumane at this point to do this. We have the money to do it. We've lost a number of class action lawsuits about this. There have been dozens of heat-related deaths, and so it's important to take care of this. I mean, I think we need to understand, for people who don't support it, that a prison sentence isn't a death sentence, and that the state, if you are going to incarcerate someone still does have a responsibility to care for them. And we're not Maine, we're not, Northern California, we're not Michigan. It gets very hot here, and so it is important to actually take care of this, because again, the state has lost a number of class action lawsuits against families and of folks who had heat-related illnesses or injuries.
Sue, I want to hear what you have to say on this.
I mean, it's humane. I mean, we have the money. I think maybe the punishment for Centerpoint should be that Centerpoint has to hook up and provide electricity and air conditioning and heating to all the prison systems in Texas. And I think that would be a good punishment.
I'll sign that petition.
Yeah.
All right, Holly, what's your take here?
Well, I'm kind of sad to see some people say, well, these are prisoners and they don't deserve luxuries. You have to think also about the employees who are working in these facilities too. There's no reason in this day and age to subject these people to these kinds of conditions. Even if we look to history, when people surviving in very hot weather, the architecture was different. We had different ways of coping with the heat. It makes no sense to continue to ignore this issue.
Bill, you've probably written about this at some point, or at least talked about it, and you've talked to powerful lawmakers about it. Do you think that they're going to find money eventually?
I hope so. This is ridiculous. I mean, forget about the prisoners for a second. There's also guards there. This is one of the toughest jobs you can possibly imagine. How many of you would like to go out there and be a guard in the prison? And then on top of that, not have any air conditioning while you're working there. So in terms of trying to recruit people to work in the prisons, we need it. But on top of that, look, we've got these people in prison hoping to rehabilitate them. Now, what are the odds that being subjected to this kind of ridiculous treatment is going to make them be more likely to be rehabilitated? It's absurd, and we need to change it right now.
All right, Sergio, jump in here. I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation. And for us to have had this huge pot of money and not address this this issue just seems crazy to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the surplus was being held hostage because of the voucher scheme that's going up there. However, they could have siphoned or used some of that money to help. We are all fully aware. We bear witness to the Texas heat, the Houston heat. I mean, it's unbearable. These folks, some of them, most of them made some bad decisions, but they're human. And somewhere in the Constitution, we're against cruelty and inhumane conditions to average citizens. So just because they lost their freedom, that doesn't mean they lost their dignity.
All right, Charles, when you go in and visit with these folks, we heard about these conditions from former inmates. Do they complain about what it's like in the summer? I mean, have you heard those complaints?
Not really, because the ones I go to are air conditioned. They're some of the private prisons, and the folks that we work with are on their way of towards being released, so they get transferred into these units, and a lot of them are very grateful for that because they've spent years in units without AC and have whether lost friends because of the heat-related illnesses or had heat-related illnesses themselves, and then were transferred to that because they needed extra care. And so I've heard the complaints, but luckily the ones that we work with aren't in the un-AC'd units.
Holly, really quickly, what is the argument that they get you know, this is part of their price.
Yeah, I don't think it really holds up again in this day and age. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about hopefully rehabilitating some of these people, although, you know, we know some of them will never be free in the world again. But we still owe it to them to treat them humanely. And again, the people who work there not only have to deal with the heat, but if you've got, you know, these hot conditions, you've got more volatility within the prison population.
Right.